it's me, in case you couldn't tell. Anyway, so I wanted to start a new series that we're going to go through called Are You Basic or Are You Extra? About half of you are here because you need to know the basics. You don't really know a whole lot of cooking. The other half want to increase your skills a little bit, right? Up your skills, up your game. So tonight we're going to start, because it is National Chicken Month, we're going to start with roast chicken. Now with chicken, especially a roast chicken, you can find as many different recipes for roast chicken as you can find cooks who make it. What I'm going to teach you tonight are a few tips and techniques, and then you can go and do what works best for you and your family. So the first thing I'm going to do tonight is I'm actually adding roast vegetables with my chicken. Now you'll notice they are separate. I do that for two reasons. Number one, the chicken, if you put the chicken and the veggies together, and I do it all the time, especially when I'm being lazy, they don't necessarily cook at the same rate. And then the second reason is, what is the second reason? Oh, so I can have more vegetables. I don't want to overcrowd the pan where I'm roasting my chicken, so I do the roasted vegetables separately. I generally start the chicken and then maybe about 15 minutes in or so, then I'll put the vegetables in the oven on a lower rack. Now today, because I've been doing fall stuff all week with some of my other work that I'm doing, I started with, excuse me, I'm kind of doing like fall vegetables. I have here onions, sweet potatoes, and russet potatoes. I don't know why okay, and russet potatoes. Now the other thing that I have are just whole cloves of garlic still in the paper. You'll notice I have an empty spot here. These vegetables are all going to cook about the same rate. About 20 to 30 minutes before these vegetables come out of the oven, these will probably take a good 40-45 minutes. I'm going to add Brussels sprouts. You could add broccoli. If you wanted to do summer vegetables or more Mediterranean style, you could do onions, zucchini, cherry tomatoes, whatever. This is a really good recipe to use whatever you have left over in your refrigerator that needs to be used up, or in your pantry that needs to be used up. So I'm going to keep this really simple. I have olive oil. Now, why am I doing this separately like this? You don't have to. You could put them all together. But I do kind of do them separately because if for some reason I decide that something is cooking too fast, it's easier to take those things out. And I'm just going to kind of toss them around. You want them to be kind of in a single-ish layer, right? And by the way, before I started, I washed my hands. I washed my hands with soap and water for 20 seconds. All right. Anyway, don't forget those garlic cloves. They're not only going to add aromatics to your vegetables, but they get really soft, and you can literally just pop them right out of their papers. Oh, they're so good. And they're sweet and not super garlicky. All right. So I'm going to set this aside. One of the things that I will often do is get my chicken started and then cut all my vegetables, because by the time I do that, then the vegetables are ready to go into the oven. But tonight I wanted to start with this so that I only have chicken juice on my hand once while I'm cooking for you, especially with my computer that seems to be doing a weird thing. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to get my pan ready for my chicken. Now, you will notice I have celery and I have carrots, and I'm going to add a couple of cloves of garlic. And I'm going to save those other 2 cloves. What I'm doing here is I'm creating a rack. Getting the chicken up off the bottom of the pan is going to give it a little space underneath. I'm going to add a little bit of liquid in here to get myself started on a gravy or a sauce. But but this creates a rack. The other thing you can use literally a baking rack, like you dry your, or like you cool your cookies on. Just get one that fits inside your pans. But if you don't have one, you can just use carrots and celery. I do it all the time. The other added benefit of this is that these are edible, right? It's one less pan to wash. And when I'm done, oh, I forgot to add pepper to our vegetables. Do that in a minute. When I'm done, I can just cut these and eat these. So I'm getting even more veggies. Because remember, with our meal planning, we want to plan for leftovers. I'm going to show you later in the week or later in the month how to use some of those leftover roast veggies. So this is my pan ready to go. I'm going to set it aside for a minute because I want to talk to you about the chicken. Now, the other thing that I've done is I've got my oven preheating at 375 degrees. So I'm not sure why, but my computer keeps going dark, like it's not going to keep going. Anyway, all right. So oven preheating to 375. I'm going to set this aside and get the chicken because I want to show you the chicken. I'm really excited about the chicken, if you can't tell. All right. Here's my chicken. This one is a little bit bigger than I normally like. This is a whole chicken. This one is probably about 6 pounds. I like somewhere between 4 and 5 pounds. The one thing when it comes to roasting chicken or preparing chicken in your kitchen is you want to wash your hands and not the chicken. I know a lot of people rinse their chickens. You actually are more likely to make yourself sick if you rinse your chicken because of the cross-contamination with the chicken in your kitchen because the juices go everywhere. Than you are if you don't. The other thing that you want to do, and the other reason why you don't, one of the reasons why people used to rinse chickens is because they were going out in their backyard or they were going to open air markets and buying their chickens pre-refrigeration. Because keep in mind, we've only had in-home refrigeration for what, 100 years or so. So your grandmother or your great-grandmother probably rinsed her chicken because it had chicken poop on it. Today's chickens don't have chicken poop. Even the ones that I get from my local farm come already clean. The one thing you do want to do, however, is you want to dry your chicken. If you want nice, crispy skin, then you're going to want to dry your chicken. Right? Okay. So I use paper towel for this. Even in instances, you know, I use a lot of, there we go. Okay. Missed the chicken. Oh. All right. So this will make a nice crispy skin. Now, if you were to ask me what my favorite roast chicken is, if I really feel like going all out with my roast chicken, then I like to take softened butter and a bunch of herbs and minced garlic and all that kind of stuff, and I'll put it under the chicken skin and then roast it. It's amazing. Oh, it's so good. But you know, this is a Thursday night. I'm tired and I need to call my mom in a half an hour. So we're just going to go with this. All right. So I've dried my chicken. I've checked the tail end of the chicken, right, to make sure that it doesn't have a little bag of goodies in there. And I'm going to season my chicken. Now, I have put salt in this little tiny bowl so that when I reach in there with my chicken fingers, when I'm done, I can take this, dispose of whatever salt is left, and then just run it through the dishwasher, right? I don't want to use a whole big, I don't want to be sticking my fingers in my regular salt cellar, is what I'm saying. All right, and you'll notice that I'm seasoning the inside of the chicken too. I tend to do, we need to take one of these off, and I've already done it. I was going to show you how to do both sides, but apparently not. One of the things you can do too is if you use your, I have a flexible cutting mat here, and it's dishwasher safe, is you can actually put some of your spices on the cutting board. Oh geez, I touched my chicken fingers. You can put some of your seasonings on the cutting board and then kind of roll your chicken in it. All right, but we're not going to do that. So I have some rosemary. I have, oh, I washed that. I forgot to take the, I've got a lemon, and I'm just cutting that lemon into 4 pieces. Right? I'm going to take a couple of pieces of lemon, shove it inside there, my bird. Got a couple of whole garlic cloves. I also have a couple of thyme sprigs going in there. All right. That's looking good. All right. Okay. So I'm going to stand my chicken upside down. See this little piece right here? That's called the Pope's nose. You can leave it on or you can take it off. But right here you have these 2 little flaps of fat. One of them already came off when I picked the chicken up. And if you just pull, they come right off, right? Okay. So I'm going to get my pan. I'm going to put my chicken on my rack. I'm going to move this. Throw that in the dishwasher. Usually when I do stuff with chicken, I try to make sure that I'm using things that I can throw in the dishwasher after touching the raw chicken. Right? Okay. So I am going to wash my hands. Give me just a second. Okay. Okay, so I've washed my hands. I'm still going to get them yucky, but I want to use the pepper. So, pepper. Oh, I should have done the oil first. Anyway, there are a lot of times when I don't put any oil or anything on my chicken, but I am going to drizzle it tonight with just a little bit of olive oil because it goes really nicely. You can brush it on if you want, but it's Thursday night, right? And like I said, you can put your vegetables in here that you want to roast with it. I'm just not going to, so that I can have extra vegetables. If you overcrowd this, it's going to take too long to cook. Things aren't going to cook evenly. This gives the chicken a lot of space around it for that airflow, right? Okay. So, oh, I want to show you one more thing before we finish this chicken. So see this little flap right here? So if you take a paring knife and you put it through that flap and just make sure that you know where the hole is, because you've got 2 layers right there, right? Make a little hole with your finger and then take the leg. See that little hole? Woo! Take the leg and put it right through there so that it pokes out. So that it pokes out. Right? Right? I'm making fun of myself. Alright. Do it on the other side. Make the hole big enough. Right? Like that. Take the leg, pop it right through, and now you don't need to tie your legs, right? I did kind of mess up my rack a little. Okay, so I'm just going to add, oh, I'm going to take my cutting board back for a second. I'm going to add a little bit of lemon. I'm not going to squeeze this lemon in here because I am going to make a sauce and I don't want it to be too lemony. I'm gonna take some of this thyme. That thyme is pretty small. All right, so if you have rosemary and you want to get the leaves off, see how the leaves grow in this direction? Hold your rosemary and pull the leaves in the opposite direction, and there you go. The ones at the very end are kind of floppy and soft, and it's okay to eat that part of the stem. Other seasonings that you could put with your chicken would be sage, goes really well, really nicely with chicken. Fresh oregano, especially since we're using the lemons. Oh, there's a woody stem in there. All right, let me throw that away. I'm gonna just give this a rough chop. All these herbs together. Gonna make my chicken so delicious. All right, how long should you cook your chicken for? All right, how long should you cook your chicken for? That's a really good question. About 15 minutes per pound at 375. All right, oh, there's a piece in there. You can feel it, there it is, that's the stubborn piece. All right. Just gonna sprinkle. Now, if you don't have fresh herbs, and a lot of times I don't, use dried herbs, right? Just start using herbs. Use them. That was probably about a tablespoon of each. Now, when it comes to dried compared to fresh herbs, you want to do about a third to a half of dried in comparison to fresh, because the dried herbs are concentrated, they have a stronger flavor. I almost always use thyme when it comes to chicken, but that could be my French culinary school coming out in me. All right, I want to show you just a couple of things, but I'm going to wash my hands first. Okay, so just to finish this off, now I could put this in the oven right now and it would be fabulous. But if I want to make any kind of sauce or gravy when I'm done, I want to give it a little help, right? I don't have to. I can take whatever fat and drippings are here in the container when I'm done, in the pan when I'm done. But like I said, I just want to give it a little help. So normally I add white wine, but I don't have any white wine right now. I do, however, have a little sparkling. The alcohol in this is all going to cook off. I'm putting it around the chicken and not on the chicken. Right? Probably about half a cup. And keep in mind, I did wash my hands before I touched that bottle. All right. And then I got a little bit of low sodium chicken broth. I'm going to add that too. Just a little bit. I don't want it to come up and over that little rack I've created. Oh, yeah. And that's it. Now this whole video, including all of my bloopers that I have to cut out, took me 20 minutes. What I love about roast chicken is that even including cutting those vegetables, it would take me about 20 minutes. It's not fast, but I let the oven do the work for me. And I'm a big fan of letting the oven do the work for me, right? Okay, this is our basic chicken. I'm gonna roast it in the oven, 15 minutes per pound. That means this one's gonna take probably about an hour and a half. I'm gonna wait until a thermometer comes out at 165 degrees. And we're gonna talk thermometers at some point, but mine are broken or in storage. So it's gonna have to wait for another day. Yeah, I just broke my thermometer the other day. So anyway, I'm gonna wait until this is cooked to 165 Fahrenheit. Not tonight because I don't have a thermometer, but I know what to look for. If you prick any part of your chicken and the juices that come out are pink, your chicken's not done. That's the best way I can describe it. Yeah, that's it. Really, I mean, honestly. When I bring it out of the oven, I'm gonna let it rest for about 15 to 20 minutes. Chickens this large, I have waited as long as an hour, and as long as I tent them, they're still warm when I cut into them. But before you cut into it, you definitely wanna wait 10 or 20 minutes. That will help make your chicken, or keep your chicken nice and moist. Put this in the oven. I'm gonna wait about a half an hour. Then I'll add those vegetables for roasting. Wait another half an hour, and then I'll add the Brussels sprouts. That's it. That's how you make a roast chicken. Let me know if you have any questions. We're gonna do an Are You Extra video later on in the month, so that if this is too boring for you, then we can try something new. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how your roast chicken is, and let me know what are your favorite seasonings on a roast chicken. This is basic roast chicken, but we did talk the other day about what types of flavors you can use in your chicken. Let me know in the comments. Thanks.